Wealth and Wisdom is brought to you by the Johannesburg Stock Exchange.
Hello and welcome to Wealth and Wisdom, a new show on Summit TV. In the show, we try and figure out ways that you can use wisdom from the past and current wisdom to help preserve your wealth and your family's wealth going into the future. One of the key things you've got to remember is to try and avoid scams and swindles. We've seen quite a few of them coming out in the media lately, quite a few overseas, quite a few internationally. With me today is Vic De Klerk, an award-winning financial journalist, who's going to be talking us through some of the interesting schemes and scams he's seen over the years. Some of them have made a lot of news. So you can see we've got some props in the studio. We've got some glasses of milk and a fan. And Vic here is going to walk us through it. Welcome to the show, Vic.
Thanks, James. Just as an introduction, I'm going to use some sort of South African language. It's going to be a mixture of Afrikaans and English, for the good reason that it seems to me that my poor old folkie are mostly the target for these scams. And so I must address some of them, the normal wording. Okay. The first one I'm going to talk about is about 30 years ago or more. That was, and it's still a very popular one as a basis, the Vrotmelk scandal of Garries. Now let me explain first. Garries is a little town.
Is that the Kubu scheme?
That was the Kubus. I call it the Vrotmelk. It was nothing else than Vrotmelk, Maas or something like that. That's if you leave your milk outside and you forget to put it back in the fridge. 3 days later it will be what we call Vrotmelk.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about that one. And Mr. Nieuwoud from Garries. Now Garries is there in the Namakwa land. That's where you go watch your flowers every year. All right? It's a small little town, etc. And it actually originated there. Very, very creative scheme. I'm going to explain the scheme to you, James, and you must try and spot the final flaw, why it didn't work and why it came to an end, this particular scheme. Okay, I was working with the Report newspaper, Sunday newspaper at that stage, and one morning when I opened the Report, there's a full-page ad of this Kubus scheme, this Vrotmelk scheme. We didn't know about it. The ad people sold it, and I was the
So when was this?
Okay, so here's the full page ad. What the hell is going on here? You invest 1,000 rand, and 5 weeks later it was 2,500. Now, fortunately, I didn't have 1,000 rand. I was just a journalist. but in 1,000 and 5 weeks later, 5,000. I was looking at this, and my editor at that stage, late Weppener, he called me and he said, Vic, have a look at this thing. Do you think it's going to make good story, good news? I said to him I was busy with more serious things that we were carrying on. And the next week there was this full-page ad again. And the next week there was another full-page ad in the Huisgenoot.
Full-page ad.
Full-page ad.
Report. This is serious money behind it.
This is serious money behind it. And then it was in the Huisgenoot, a full-page ad. And it was carrying on about 2, 3 months, 4 months. And this was becoming news now.
Yeah.
Across the country it was becoming news. The whole Namakwa land was booming because of this thing. And Webb called me in again and he said, Vic, come and have a look at this thing. And for the first time I actually read through the thing and I started studying it. Now I'm going to explain to you how a Kubus scheme that creative Mr. Nieuwoud from Garries put on the market. First of all, for your 1,000 rand investment, you were getting a little container like this of Wonderdupa. I don't know what it was, but it was a wonder stuff. It was there. Okay. That you could only buy from him. You couldn't buy it from OK Bazaars in those days or anywhere. You could only get it from him. Right. And then the instructions followed. You had to take some milk, ordinary milk. This is fine.
Yeah.
And you fill 5 glasses. Oh, not 5 glasses. You don't fill them. You put in a little bit of milk like that. Okay? That's enough. That would be enough. Right? And then you take a little bit of this dupa and you put it in that milk. Like that. And then you put the milk outside. Okay? Outside your fridge.
Yeah, yeah.
For about 5 days. The nice frot. No, what do you call it? cubus or no, it was growing, it was growing. This wonder stuff caused it to go fruit. It was there, nice.
Okay.
Then you take an ordinary envelope, like this, and you take a teaspoon.
Yeah.
You must be very careful, very meticulous in this thing. And you take 2 teaspoons, only 2 teaspoons full of that, and you put it in the envelope. Now it's a nice messy affair. And then you put up a wire here, all right, and you attach the envelopes with on the south side or north side, I don't know, very exact instructions. And you put on your fan, all right, and that's going to dry for exactly 5 days. Not 4 days, not 7 days, exactly 5 days.
All across South Africa, there were these people putting fruit milk in envelopes, hanging them up on clotheslines, and then they were putting them up in a fan to dry, following the instructions meticulously.
Meticulously. Okay. And then you take this thing, and you put it in a brown envelope. This white one is now all 5 of them. Because you can fill 5 glasses at a time.
Okay.
Right? 5 of them, and you put them in a brown envelope, and on the brown envelope, you send this now to Mr. Nieuwoud at Garris. But on the brown envelope, you put your number. Because when you ordered this from him, you were given a production number.
Okay.
So now you put your number on here, and your 5 envelopes go there. And as soon as he receives it, he posts you a check of 500 rand. 100 rand for that glass of milk with a little bit of tupa in it. Okay. And of course, here on that side marked it off on your side. And that you do for 5 weeks. Because this dupa can only make 25 glasses. And he marks it off on that side. If you didn't use up all the dupa, you couldn't go for 30 glasses or 40 glasses. It can only do 25 glasses.
Okay.
I see, it can only do 25 glasses. And the people started with this. And they were getting their money back.
Getting 2,500 rand back from
25 for every 1,000 invested. Now you can see the production scheme, your production belt is not working very well. So you must actually buy 3 lots of dupa.
Okay.
So the first week you put it in your glasses. The second week you put it in here in the fan.
So these guys, I mean, eventually you have a whole apartment just covered with these envelopes hanging, drying out.
And the third one goes over there.
Okay.
And we were all making money. I wasn't invested in this thing, but it was very popular. Huh? And the Huisgenoot carried a nice article on Mr. Nieuwoud. What a fantastic man, what he's doing.
And a huge purchaser of the advertising.
And I asked him, what are you going to do with the final product? And Mr. Nieuwoud said, one day he was looking at his grandmother.
Yeah.
She was very old, but still very beautiful. She didn't have a single wrinkle in her face. Now, look at mine. And there was a glass of this fruit milk standing in a window shelf or something like that. And you ask her, what do you do with that? And she says, I wash my face once a week with that.
Okay.
So that is what he was going to do with all these little dried envelopes that was going there. He was going to enter the market for beauty, facial beautiful things.
So I think we're going to take a break now, Vic, and we're going to come back. When we come back, we're going to be talking about the Kubus milk scheme and how it all turned sour.
JSE Safex style options, a great choice.